Greetings, yoga friends. I'm Rebecca, and welcome to this gentle yoga sequence to center you in the moment and stretch your shoulders and hips. I recommend that you bring a towel or a yoga strap to support yourself in our shoulder stretches today, and maybe a block if you like to use that for triangle pose. So go get yourself comfortable, and I'll see you on the mat.
So we'll just come to our comfortable seat and stack your shoulders right over your hips. Maybe keep your eyes open, your gaze lowered, or you can let your eyelids flutter closed. And we'll just start with some slow breathing, bringing ourselves into this moment on our mats. Let your shoulders relax away from your ears. Let your elbows become heavy. Allow your collarbones to spread away from each other, tucking your chin in slightly, allowing your belly to be soft. And tune in to the feeling of your hands on your knees. See if you can isolate the feeling of your knees touching your hands, and then swishing to the sensation of the legs, the hands touching your knees. And keeping that connection of the hands and the knees, just begin to move slowly with the breath. We'll round the belly button back, drawing the shoulders forward. And then inhaling, we'll open the chest, shifting the chin up slightly, moving the shoulders onto the back. Exhaling, rounding forward. Inhaling, opening the shoulders. Exhale, round the shoulders forward. And inhale, open the shoulders back. One last time here. And then allow yourself to come to stillness. We'll inhale here, and as we're exhaling, just allow your head to fall over to one side, bringing one ear to one shoulder, stretching through the side of the neck. And then inhaling the head up, we'll drop the head to the other shoulder. Inhaling the head back to center, we'll turn the head 45 degrees to one side, dropping the chin to the chest, and then bringing the hand to the back of the head, pressing the crown of the head into the hand as we gently pull the hand down, stretching through the top and back of the shoulder. And then inhale to release, coming back to center. Exhaling as we drop the head 45 degrees in the other direction and stretching through the back of that shoulder. And allowing that to release, bringing the head back to center. I'm going to stretch through the front of the throat here. So focusing more on pulling the chin upward rather than crunching those small bones in the back. So you might even press your lips together slightly here to increase that feeling of stretch down the skin of the front of the throat. And then as we're exhaling, we'll bring the hands to heart center, allowing the chin to come to the chest and stretching through the back of the neck. And if you like to set an intention for your practice today, this is a good place to do that. Perhaps just resolving to allow everything to be just exactly as it is. And then inhaling the head up, we'll allow the fingertips to come down next to us on the mat. Inhaling up tall through the left arm, and we'll exhale as we reach up and over towards the seam of the ceiling and the wall. It's really pressing down through this left hip here. And if you like, you can shift the gaze towards the elbow, moving the shoulder onto the back, opening the chest. Big inhale here, and as we're exhaling, just allowing that hand to rain down. And turning our attention to the right hand, we'll inhale that arm up. Exhale as we reach for the seam of the ceiling and the wall, peeling that shoulder back. Shifting your gaze toward the elbow if you like, or keeping it out front. Grounding down through the right hip. Big inhale into the side body. And then exhale, raining it all down. Turning both hands palm up, we'll inhale to gather the air up overhead. And then exhale as we twist open to one side, bringing the fingertips around behind, growing tall through the spine, finding spinal extension in our rotation. Inhaling the arms back up overhead. We'll exhale as we drop to the other side. And then inhaling the arms back up overhead. We'll allow the fingers to rain down, and we'll shift ourselves into a tabletop. So coming into your tabletop, finding that stacking of the joints here, choosing the position of your feet, pressing into your nice wide fingers, and then beginning to come through some cat-cows on your own. So in our seated cat-cow today, we allowed our shoulders to lead the way. And in our cat-cow here, we're allowing the pelvis to lead the way. So beginning the movement with the tailbone and imagining it waving up the spine. And now bringing that to stillness, coming back to neutral in our tabletop. We'll take our big toes together, widening out through the knees, and then exhaling, sending the hips back, coming into a wide leg child's pose. Really reaching out long with the fingertips here, almost so long that as you press the hips back towards the heels, you can feel the fingertips dragging back on the mat in front of you. Feel the space coming in underneath the armpits. Remembering that if your head doesn't comfortably reach the mat here, you can always bring a block or a blanket underneath your forehead. And we'll just give the forehead a little massage here, just allowing the head to rock back and forth slightly, massaging the brow, maybe where we keep it knotted up during the day as we're concerned about other things. And then bring that to stillness. We'll inhale as we allow ourselves to rise up from this position, bringing our joints back in alignment. And then we'll come into a thread the needle pose here. So to begin that movement, we'll inhale the left arm up and out to the side. And then exhale, sending that left palm underneath the right arm, coming to rest on the left ear. You can keep this hand in front of the face, or you can extend the right arm out long. Allow your body to become heavy into the left shoulder. And then find your breath. We'll draw the right hand back in front of the face. Inhaling as we press away from the mat. Finding our alignment again. And then inhaling to open that right arm out to the side. Exhale, sending that arm underneath the left. And then finding whatever variation you like here. Guiding ourselves gently back to the breath. And then bringing the left hand back in front of the face. Press back into our tabletop position. Bringing the knees squarely under the hips here. We're going to roll the toes under and begin to roll the body back onto the heels. So we're coming into a toe stretch here. This is a pretty intense stretch. We won't be here for long. Stretching through the bottoms of the feet is not something that we do very often. So if you find that the bottoms of your feet are very sensitive and being up on your heels is a little too much, you can come down toward the fingertips or be in whatever shape you need to be in this morning. And we'll just take 3 breaths here. Willingly allowing ourselves to be in some discomfort here, but not pain. Second breath. And last breath together, inhaling and exhaling. Allow yourself to come forward slowly, in control. And then once your hands have found the mat again, take the tops of the feet to the mat here, and you can sort of slap those feet a little on the mat. Good. And now walking our hands, a couple of handprints out in front, we'll roll those toes back under, this time shifting the hips up towards the ceiling, keeping those knees nice and bent. First downward dog. And you can pedal the heels out a bit here. Imagine yourself really actively pressing the upper body out of the mat as if you could move all of your body weight back towards your heels. Tailbones rotating up towards the ceiling. And we'll allow that left heel to find the mat as we bend the right knee. We'll allow the left knee to work toward the mat as we bend the right knee deeply, looking under the right armpit here. And then come back to center, allow that to release. We'll relax that right heel down towards the mat, bending into the left knee and looking under the left arm. Coming back to center, still up on the toes here. We'll bend both knees very generously, pressing the tailbone up towards the ceiling, bringing the belly towards the thighs. Nice big inhale here. And then as we're exhaling, just allow the heels to relax. Inhaling up to the toes. Exhale as we bend the knees. And then inhaling here. And exhaling it all out as we allow the heels to relax. And then shifting the gaze forward, we'll walk up towards the top of the mat. Coming into our forward fold. So find something that feels good here. Perhaps for you, it's a rag doll. Maybe it's walking the fingertips side to side. Allowing the crown of the head to relax down towards the floor. Allowing gravity to carry you over the legs. And we'll bend both knees deeply here. You can plant a fist or a palm into the floor, or even coming to fingertips. So we'll take that left hand, plant that into the floor, and then keeping that left knee bent, we'll open the right arm, straightening through the right knee. And then allow that right arm to come down, planting that right hand now, bending deeply into the right knee, and then opening the left arm as we straighten the left knee. Coming back to the breath. And then allowing that left hand to come down. We'll bend both knees generously, taking one hand and then the other over each bent knee and coming up to stand with a flat back. Let's find our way to the center of the mat. And if you have a strap or a towel, you might grab that, make that easy to reach. So we'll begin here by inhaling the arms up overhead. And as we're exhaling, we'll open to one side, dropping the arms down halfway. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, opening to the other side, just bringing some range of motion into these shoulder joints. Inhaling to center, exhaling to the other side. Inhaling, arms come up. And exhaling, opening to the other side. Inhale, arms come up overhead. We'll allow the hands to come to touch as we exhale, the hands down to heart center. And once we find them here, we're going to press the hands actively into each other, bringing the elbows out to one side. And then really tuning into the foundation and our feet here for just a moment, spreading the toes wide, lifting the arches, bending the knees slightly, moving the shoulders onto the back. And then inhaling here as we exhale, we're just going to shift the hands over to one side only. So the hips are staying forward. We're not moving the trunk with the arms, just moving the arms. Inhaling back to center, exhaling to the other side. Pressing actively into the palms. Inhale back to center. Exhale, other side. Inhale to center. And exhale to the other side. Inhale back to center. Allow the hands to come down to the sides. And then we'll inhale the arms open wide. Exhale, bringing the right arm over the left arm. We'll reach back for the shoulder blades here. Inhaling. And as you exhale, see if you can drop your chin towards that little space created by the arms. Stretching through the back of the neck and the upper back. We'll inhale the arms open wide. And as we're exhaling, we'll allow the fingers to swim around behind, interlacing the fingers behind the tailbone, taking an inhale here and exhaling as we press down and away, opening through the chest. And if it feels good for you here, you can shift the hips back into an Utkatasana. And then take this into a humble chair pose, allowing the arms to rise up overhead, resisting the temptation to drop the shoulders forward into the joint, but continuing to press the shoulders up and back. And then exhaling will allow those fingers to rain down. Inhaling back up, hands come overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart center and all the way down. Inhaling the arms open. We'll exhale this time, bringing the left elbow over the right elbow, reaching back for those shoulder blades, dropping the chin to the chest. And you might even rock back and forth here slightly, just giving yourself a nice big hug. Good thing to bring into any part of your day. And then inhaling the arms open wide. As we're exhaling, we'll swim them around behind, this time interlacing the fingers in a way that feels odd or unusual. And then taking your inhale here, exhaling, pressing down and away, opening through the chest. Maybe allowing the chin to raise slightly and then drop back to the chest. And then sinking into that chair pose if you like. Maybe taking it down a little farther into your humble Utkatasana. And then allowing those fingers to release down to the mat, sweeping them back up overhead as we come to stand, and allowing the hands to come down to heart center. We'll pick up our strap or towel now. And if you don't have one, that's okay. You can just use your shirt. If you do have one, taking that over your left shoulder. We'll inhale the arms open wide, this time taking the left hand in between the shoulder blades in the back, rotating that right arm around behind and grasping your shirt or the strap or your fingertips and pulling away from each other. Really seeing if you can get that elbow pointed up towards the ceiling. Allowing for the rotation of the shoulders in this position. One shoulder rotating inward, the other in external rotation. And taking a deep breath here as we're exhaling, we'll just turn slightly toward the elevated elbow. And then inhale back to center. We'll allow this to release. Maybe shaking out the arms just slightly, and then moving your strap to the other arm, other shoulder. Inhaling the arms open. We'll bring the right arm in between the shoulder blades this time. Exhaling, bringing those left fingertips around, and then grasping your strap or fingertips or shirt, pulling away. The shoulders are one of the places where we can most easily notice the differences of one side of the body to the other. Many people find they can reach much farther in one side of this pose than on the other. It's interesting. And as we're exhaling, we'll just turn toward that elevated elbow, keeping a slight bend in the knees, pressing down evenly through both feet. And then allowing that to release. We can take the strap or the towel and place it back out to the side. And one last shoulder move this morning. We'll inhale the arms open. Exhale as we bring the right elbow over the left elbow, bringing the palms of the hands to touch here, finding that little springiness in the knees, slight bend. And if you like, you can inhale as you shift the arms up. You'll feel that sensation across the top of the back, top of the shoulders. Exhaling, you can shift the elbows down. And then inhale to let the elbows come back to neutral, opening the arms all the way. And then we'll exhale, bringing the left elbow over the right, bending into the elbows. Inhaling to send those arms up. Remembering you can always just keep them directly in front. You do not have to move them up and down. Exhale, releasing the elbows down if you like. And then inhale to come back to neutral. Unwind, open the arms wide. And then allow the fingertips to rain down, shaking out through the arms. So let's find our way to the top of our mats. So we'll find our nice stable Tadasana here at the top of our mats. So maybe lifting all the toes, sitting down the little toe and then the big toe, and allowing all the other toes to fall in between. And then feeling that the feet might press away from each other, really pressing into the outside edges of the feet, like you might tear your mat apart. And feeling the engagement of the muscles that happens all the way up the body as you do that. We'll inhale the arms up overhead. And as we exhale, we'll bring the hands down to the hips this morning. I'm going to take a big step back with the right leg. Really ground that right heel down into the mat. You might take the hands towards the back of the hips here, really pressing the hips forward, squaring them toward the front edge of the mat. We'll inhale here as we open the chest, and as we exhale, just bring the knee right over the ankle, continuing to press firmly into that back heel. You can keep the arms right here, or you can inhale the arms up overhead, feeling that opposing motion of the fingertips reaching up and the heels grounding down. And seeing we found our way here into Warrior One this morning. Nice big inhale as we lift the fingertips towards the ceiling. And then exhale, we'll allow those hands to swim around behind. Here you can find a reverse namaskara if that's available to you, or you can just allow the fists to bump into each other. And then extending through the front leg, take a nice deep breath. And as we're exhaling, just lower forward, hinging at the hips, taking the gaze to that big front toe, or that big toe in the front. Little micro bend in the front knee, pressing the feet away from each other, finding the breath. And then we'll allow the fingers to release from the back, sweeping back down, inhaling up as we bend into that front knee, finding our way back into Warrior One, squaring the hips. And then we'll pivot on that back heel, opening up into a Warrior Two, taking the gaze over the front fingertips, squaring the shoulders, squaring the hips toward the long side of the mat. And then we'll extend through our front leg, shifting the hips out to the right, gathering up some space, and dropping into a triangle on the side. So remembering you can keep the gaze out front or shifting up towards the thumb, and finding wherever your hand needs to be placed in order to keep yourself in alignment. So we're trying to align the shoulder with the hip as if we would be able to touch the shoulder and hip to the wall if we were standing next to the wall. And then we'll inhale up, coming back into Warrior Two. And then we'll allow this right hand to windmill forward as we step up to the top of the mat, finding our way into chair pose with the arms overhead or perhaps outstretched out front. Nice big deep breath here. And then as we're exhaling, we'll bring the hands to touch, coming into an Utkatasana twist with the left elbow on top of the right knee. Staying here for 3 breaths. Inhaling back to center. We'll exhale as we tip forward, coming into forward fold. And then inhale up to standing with a flat back. Hands come to heart center. And now taking this to the other side. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhaling as we bring the hands down to the hips. Taking a big step back with the left leg this time. Using those hands on the hips to guide the hips. Inhaling and exhaling, bending that knee right over the ankle. Pressing actively through the left heel. Inhale the arms up overhead. Feeling the engagement of the legs here, zipping up through the abs, drawing the pelvic floor muscle up. And then as we're exhaling, allowing the hands to swim around behind, maybe finding that reverse namaskara, or perhaps just allowing the fists to bump into each other. Opening the shoulders back, straightening through the front leg. Nice big deep breath. And then exhaling forward, pyramid pose. Bringing that weight into all 4 corners of this front foot. Peeling the front hip back. Pressing the back hip forward. And then allowing the fingers to release from behind, sweeping up overhead, bending into the front knee, finding our way back. Warrior one. We'll windmill that left arm open, pivoting on our back foot, coming into warrior two on this side. Shoulders are on the back, maybe rotating the palms upward for a moment to bring those shoulders back, and then rotating the palms back down. We'll straighten through that front leg, shifting the hips out to the left this time, gathering up all that air, tipping over, triangle pose. See if you can bring some lightness into that supporting hand. Really using the obliques to support yourself. And then engaging everything, we'll inhale back up, exhaling back to warrior two. And then windmilling that left arm around, we'll bring the left foot to meet the right as we sink down into our chair pose. Three breaths. And then let the hands come to heart center. We'll twist to the other side. Inhaling back to center. We'll exhale as we tilt over into our forward fold. Taking a moment here for a deep breath. When planting both hands, we're going to step the left leg back, coming into a high lunge. As we exhale, shifting the gaze forward, pressing the hips down. And then planting both hands here, we'll step the right foot back to meet the left. Exhaling as we come into downward facing dog. Bringing the gaze in between the big toes. Pressing actively out of the shoulders. And then bringing the left leg forward in between the hands. We'll sink the hips down, coming into our lunge on this side. Planting those hands again, shifting the left leg back to meet the right. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then inhaling, we'll come forward to the knees here. A couple of options for this next pose. You can bring the toes together, allowing the knees to widen out to the edges of the mat and coming into our usual wide leg child's pose. Or if you like, you can allow the knees to come out to the edges of the mat and then allow the feet to follow them, the feet rotating outward, setting up for frog pose here. So knees are very wide and then shifting the hips back. If you're coming into frog, you can really allow those knees to spread out, perhaps coming to your forearms. And if frog feels too intense, just coming into our usual wide leg child's pose. So choosing your hip opener here. Coming back to the breath. Always finding the breath. And if you're in your wide leg child pose, pulling the belly button in as you allow yourself to rise up from this position. If you're in frog, bringing the hands a little closer to the body, pressing into the hands, moving the knees together slowly. And then we're just going to shift the legs to one side, coming into Dandasana briefly here. So bringing the toes back towards the face, pressing the palms or maybe the fists into the floor. Nice straight spine. And then we'll allow that to release. I'm going to switch around and come to the long side of the mat here, opening the legs up for dragonfly. And you might want to reach back here and sort of pull the flesh out of the way, maybe in the front, pulling the flesh of the calf muscle back. So the sits bones are nice and engaged with the floor here. And the feet are able to open up. We're going to take the right hand to the inside of the right leg here as we inhale the left arm up overhead. And then as we're exhaling, just sliding that right hand along the inside of the right leg, reaching over with the left arm. And if your right elbow is near your right knee, you might press them into each other. If not, that's okay. And then inhaling the left arm down. We'll take that left hand along the inside of the left leg Inhaling the right arm up overhead. And exhaling as we slide that left hand down the left leg. And inhaling to come up and release. We'll take the hands underneath the knees here, gathering the knees in as we allow the soles of the feet to find each other, coming into Baddha Konasana or butterfly. So finding where you like to interlace your hands here, and then opening the chest, allowing the knees to just relax down towards the mat. And you can keep it right here, or if you'd like a little more sensation as you're exhaling, just allow the center of the chest to fall forward, keeping the neck in line with the spine. Three breaths here. And then allow yourself to inhale up. You can use the hands to help yourself gently close the legs, and we'll come down to rest on the back. Rolling out through the lower back. If you have that strap or towel handy, you can grab that now. We'll allow the soles of the feet to find the floor. Actually, let's keep this right leg pulled into the knee, pulled into the chest, right knee pulled into the chest. And we'll take that towel or strap, if you have it, around the ball of the right foot. If not, just extending that right foot up overhead. And you can reach up that strap, allowing the shoulders to do the work of stretching the hamstring here. Or if you don't have a strap today, just holding on to the calf. If you have a long strap or towel, you can actually allow the hands to come up overhead here, holding on to the very ends of the towel, deepening the sensation in the back of the leg. And now we'll let that release, either bringing both sides of the strap into your right hand, or bending the knee and holding the knee in the hand. We'll open that leg out to the side, coming into a hip opener here. You also have an option of holding on to the toe. That works for you in this shape. Lots of variations. Now inhaling that leg back up overhead. We'll guide the outside of the right foot to the top of the left thigh. And then as we're exhaling, bring the left sole of the foot up from the floor, interlacing the fingers behind the left thigh. And then just finding where you would like to have that left foot. You can extend it up towards the ceiling, bend it slightly, or bend it a lot. Stretching the outside of the right hip. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the neck. Yoga is the union of opposites. It teaches us that while there is one part of the body that's experiencing intense sensation, there are other parts of the body where we're experiencing neutral sensations. So see if you can practice moving your attention to a part of the body that's experiencing neutral sensation. And then allow that left sole of the foot to find the floor. We'll bring the right sole of the foot down and then bring the left knee into the chest. Bringing that strap around the left ball of the foot if you have that available. And finding your hamstring stretch on this side. Choosing your variation. Two more breaths. Allowing that to release, we'll take both sides of the strap in the left hand, opening this left leg out to the side. I have to turn to make some space. Allowing the right knee to point directly forward. And then inhaling that left leg back up overhead, allowing the outside of the left foot to find the top of the right thigh. Inhaling, and as we're exhaling, bringing that right foot up from the floor and finding where you like to keep that right leg. Recline pigeon. Once again, perhaps looking for that part of the body that is experiencing neutral sensation, especially if the sensation in the outer hip is a deep one. And then we'll allow that sole of the foot to find the floor. We're going to take the soles of the feet out to the wide edges of the mat, opening the arms up wide here, and then just allowing the legs to fall over to one side. Perhaps taking the gaze over the opposite shoulder. And if you'd like a little deeper sensation, you can take the foot to the top of the knee, getting into a little bit more of a side stretch. Coming out of that bind, if you found it, we'll inhale the knees back up and exhale as we drop them to the other side, taking the gaze over the opposite shoulder. Letting the feet find the floor, Inhaling the knees back up. We'll bring the knees into the chest, rolling out through the lower back slightly. And then allowing the knees to separate, reaching through, grabbing the outsides of the feet or the toes, coming into happy baby. Deepening that sensation in happy baby by allowing the shoulders to be heavy and relaxed, and the weight of the arms to pull the knees back towards the armpits. And then allowing the soles of the feet to find each other again. We'll use our hands to help extend ourselves out long on the mat. Coming into Shavasana. Snuggling the shoulders up under the back. Allowing everything to relax. And bringing the attention back to the breath. Not trying to change anything about the breath here, but just allowing ourselves to be breathed. Scanning through the body, you might notice any places of warmth, coolness. Any places of softness or tension. Places where you perhaps feel some tingling, or other places that feel neutral. You might bring your attention to sounds in your environment, allowing them to just be sounds without judgment. Just observing whatever is in this moment. Take a nice deep breath and find any movements in this moment that feel delicious for you. And when you're ready, roll yourself to one side and then gently press yourself back into a seated position. The reading I brought to share today is from Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. I exist as I am. That is enough. If no other in the world be aware, I sit content. And if each and all be aware, I sit content. One world is aware, and by far the largest to me, and that is myself. And whether I come to my own today or in 10,000 or 10 million years, I can cheerfully take it now, or with equal cheerfulness, I can wait. May you enjoy your day today. May you stay in the now, and may your yoga follow you off the mat.